It's Monday, October 30th, 2023. A lot to talk about today. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure to hit that bell notification down below so that you are alerted when the newest videos drop. So much happening, so much to talk about. We'll get right into it right now. Dow Jones, I think, was up around 511 points today. Markets across the board up. Literally everything was up today. And I believe, and please comment down below, let me know why the market skyrocketed today. Dow Jones up 511 points. Why? I believe it's optimism and it's hope that this coming Wednesday, when Jerome Powell of the Fed comes out, I believe that the markets are hoping that we're going to have a pause and that Jerome Powell is going to come out and talk about reversing course. I don't think that's going to happen. I do believe at this point we are going to have another pause. And I say that because bond yields are near 5% and the war now that we are in. So I don't think Jerome Powell is going to raise the Fed's fund rate on Wednesday. There is the possibility that he does in December, but I don't think it's going to happen on Wednesday. I think they will pause, and I think that that's another mistake. I think we are so far behind inflation. We don't know the real inflation numbers, but I think it's much higher than we're being told. Interest rates probably need to be much higher than they are right now, but I believe we will have a pause. There will be no talk of reversing course anytime soon. That's hope, and the markets can hope all they want. The markets were very optimistic today. Also, what was interesting is Dow Jones was up around 400 points, and Benjamin Netanyahu came out today and was speaking and literally getting biblical and saying that this is now the time for war. And immediately the Dow Jones went from 400 to 500. So it looks like the markets probably like this war because it sees liquidity coming. These defense stocks keep going up. These defense companies are going to make billions of dollars now that we're in 2 wars, and quite possibly we could be in 3 very, very soon. But as the markets are up today, as the wealthy continue to get wealthier, a survey, according to The Hedge today, survey found most Americans falling behind on emergency savings. 60% surveyed said that they are falling behind on their emergency savings. 38% said they are significantly behind. A survey from Bankrate.com showed just 19% of American households increased their emergency savings, while 32% have less savings now compared to the beginning of 2023. 20%, according to this survey, have absolutely no savings whatsoever. Fed Reserve Bank of New York revealed on October 11th that Americans' disposable income has fallen, and consumers are increasingly dipping into savings to prop up consumption. Not a good sign for the economy. It says here that Americans are making hardship withdrawals from their retirement funds. Fidelity Investments reporting withdrawals from 401k accounts have tripled from 2.1% in 2018 to 6.9% in 2023. Vanguard reported hardship withdrawals have doubled. 49% of consumers polled in October say that high prices have eroded their standard of living. It's getting very real, ladies and gentlemen. And so again, we see this detachment from the stock market and reality, where the stock market is up 500 points today, yet most people are broke. Most people are tapping into retirement accounts or savings accounts or living off credit cards. Very, very dangerous times for the average American right now, and this really is just the beginning. I can't even imagine what this economy is going to look like in 2024. I was talking to somebody today, and I said, I've never seen the economy this bad. There is no doubt in my lifetime that we've ever had an economy this weak or this sick. and it's only getting worse. I don't see what is going to pull America out of this depression. I really, really don't. Here's another one today on the hedge. Orange juice prices hit another record high of 10%. It says the frozen orange juice concentrate has soared 388% since March of 2020. Breakfast, if you ever go out to breakfast, it's crazy expensive how much breakfast costs today. Have a couple eggs, couple bacon, glass of orange juice. I mean, most places a glass of orange juice is going to cost you $5, $6, $7, $8. It's absolutely absurd now, the prices of going out to eat, even for a breakfast. Go to Denny's. Denny's isn't cheap anymore. There's nothing cheap anymore everywhere. It just keeps getting more and more expensive, including, which this is absolutely fascinating, McDonald's revenue soars as it hikes menu prices. $18 Big Macs. Darien, Connecticut. In Darien, Connecticut, there's a McDonald's where they are charging $18 for a Big Mac combo. Big Mac fries and a Coke. In other parts of the country, you know, $12, $13. I mean, I remember back in the day when I think it was like $4, $4 or $5 for a Big Mac combo. And it was actually twice the size, and it actually had a taste, a flavor to it. Today, McDonald's reported revenue up 14% in the last quarter. And this is now where people have got to eat, because they can't eat at a decent restaurant, because now you're going to spend $25, $30 just to go to a normal restaurant, just to go to a diner. So now people are going to have to go to McDonald's and spend, you know, $10, $12, $18, because a decent restaurant is going to cost you minimally now well over $20. You go to a decent restaurant for breakfast, it's going to cost you well over $20 just for breakfast. It may cost you $8 or $10 just for the orange juice. This is where we're at. And so I think this is really bad, because not only the food prices are going up, but the quality of food continues to go down. More preservatives, more additives, more processed, more chemicals. And this is going to take a toll on a lot of people's health. Now, I'm guilty. I like a little fast food now and then, especially, you know, if I'm in a bind and I've got to eat. I'm guilty of it every now and then, but I really try to cut it out. And you got to think about the health consequences here, where people now are eating this throughout the day because they can't afford to really go anywhere else. And even grocery store prices are getting so expensive. Some people find it cheaper just to go out and eat junk food. And kids are growing up on this, or they're growing up on really, really processed food from the grocery store. And think about the consequences, the health consequences down the line here. Speaking of consequences, CNBC, Treasury to borrow $776 billion in the final 3 months of this year. Markets up across the board today. No concern. Markets continue to ignore danger, but the Treasury to borrow another $776 billion this year. And here's one from the hedge. We spoke about this yesterday. U.S. to borrow $1.5 trillion in debt this and next quarter, after borrowing a massive $1 trillion last quarter. But markets are up today. Nobody speaks about that. Nobody even discusses it. But markets are up today. All on the optimism and hope that the Fed is going to pause for the rest of the year and begin to reverse course and lower interest rates. They may pause, but I do think we're getting one more hike this year. And I think, as Jerome has stated 100 times, we're gonna keep rates higher for longer. And the markets continue to fight this. The markets continue to ignore this. This is why I think that there's so much optimism for this war, because this will inject liquidity into these markets, and these defense companies are going to make a lot of money. So I'm sure that they're going to really want this war to expand. Here's another one from Fox Business. Fed's fight against inflation is weighing on middle-class Americans. As you know, credit card balances are skyrocketing. Average credit card rate now over 24%. Average retail card over 28%. Millions of Americans are holding balances month to month. And this is costing them hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month in interest alone. And this is going to continue to crush the middle class. I don't know. I do not know how people are doing it right now other than credit cards. Maybe they pulled a equity line out of their home a couple years ago, and they're sitting on a pile of cash and living off of that, which we know a lot of people were refining their homes, using their homes as ATMs, pulling the cash out, and they're probably using that cash now just to pay the bills, to pay for the essentials. But what happens when the money runs out? We know every day we're getting closer and closer to things breaking, closer and closer to where the average consumer is running out of money. Most have already run out of money. Now they're living off of credit cards. What happens when they drain those credit cards, when they exhaust those credit cards? That's when we begin to see big trouble. Here's another one from The Hedge. It takes 72 hours work to earn enough to pay for the internet in Zimbabwe. I thought that was pretty interesting. So you have to work 72 hours to earn enough for the internet, to have internet access at your home. This is absolutely shocking. Nigeria, you have to work 35 hours and 25 minutes to have internet. El Salvador, 13 hours and 44 minutes. Philippines, 10 hours, 5 minutes. Brazil, 5 hours and 53 minutes. So you got to work a lot just for the luxury of having internet service at your home in these countries. And what I found really amazing is you may have to work anywhere from 5 hours to 72 hours to have the internet. But this article on voanews.com, Zimbabwe introduces gold coins in hopes of reducing demand for US dollars. Now, they've been trying to do this for a while now. But I bring this up because if you had a gold coin in any one of these countries, you're going to have internet service. And so, people like to say, well, you can't buy food, you can't eat gold coins. Well, sure you can, because you can convert gold, that gold coin, into any fiat currency anywhere in the world, including any one of these countries. So you could convert that gold coin into any currency and have internet service for any amount of time that you need it for. Just like you could convert it into fiat currency to buy food, pay for utilities, get a haircut, buy internet service, buy a house, whatever the case may be. But isn't it shocking that if you have gold in Zimbabwe, you're going to actually be able to buy stuff? And so again, it's just another reminder of why it's so important to own this stuff. You can buy a lot of internet with a gold coin in Zimbabwe. You can even buy food. You want to walk in there with fiat currency, you're probably going to need a suitcase of it to go to lunch, or a suitcase of currency just to have internet access. Another article today, CVS stores in Washington, D.C. resort to framed photos of toilet paper. So if you walk into a CVS store in D.C., you're going to see a lot of empty shelves. But you'll see framed photos of toothpaste, framed photos of toilet paper, framed photos of razor blades, framed photos of deodorant, framed photos of mouthwash, you name it. If you Google this, go online, check out the CVS stores in Washington, D.C. The shelves are empty. All they have are framed photos of the goods or supplies that used to be in abundance on those shelves, which are no longer because people just steal it. I'm looking at this and I cannot believe what I'm seeing. And this is all due to theft. This is all due to lawlessness. Crime has reached crisis levels in America. Now, what was interesting is if you look at a country like Barcelona, Spain, they showed a store in Barcelona, Spain, where they had MacBooks, and they had about, I don't know, 25 MacBooks on a table, just right there on the table. People could pick them up, look at them, hold them, walk up, go purchase them. They weren't tied to anything. They weren't chained down. They weren't behind a case. They weren't in the back of the store. They were right there on a table where anybody could freely go and pick one up and go to a register and purchase it. boxes of them. You can see that on Twitter X, by the way. But here in America, you're never going to walk into an Apple store or any store and see a MacBook sitting out on a table that isn't like literally chained down to it. You're not going to see boxes of brand new MacBooks on a table that you can walk up to and take one and go walk up to the cashier and walk out. Not going to happen. I mean, we are really watching the demise and fall of this country. It's really, really sad. Now, really quick to end this video, I want to address a comment which I thought was pretty interesting. Somebody wrote, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, that they saw me at a Men's Warehouse. And I want to address this video. They saw me in a Men's Warehouse buying a $5,000 suit. Now, I want to address this because, first off, I've never in my life, maybe once, maybe one time when I lived in Orange County, I was at a Men's Warehouse. Maybe I was in my 20s. I think I went there with a buddy of mine. I wasn't there to buy anything, but he had to pick something up, and I went in there. But I've never purchased anything from a Men's Warehouse, never been to a Men's Warehouse since I've lived out here. And the last time I was probably at one, and I think it was a Men's Warehouse, would have to be many, many years ago. I had to be in my late 20s. So I can't even really tell you much about a Men's Warehouse, but I can tell you this. Men's Warehouse does not carry $5,000 suits. You can go online. I think about the highest, most expensive suit you're going to get at a Men's Warehouse is about between $500 and $600. So to that person, let me just clarify, because you thought it was me. I'll clarify, it definitely was not me. I don't shop at Men's Warehouse, have never shopped in a Men's Warehouse. Men's Warehouse does not sell $5,000 suits. Now, if you want a $5,000 suit, you know, you can go to Versace, maybe go to Gucci, go to our Armani store, go to Tom Ford, go to Saks Fifth, go to Neiman Marcus, Brooks Brothers, you know, stores like that. That's where you're going to get your your $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 suits. Not at Men's Warehouse. So I wanted to clarify that to that individual because they were really concerned that I might be spending $5,000 on a suit. But at the end of the day, if I want to buy a $5,000 suit, I can do that, and I won't use a credit card to do it. But I really have enough clothes at the moment. I'm not in the neighborhood of or the market to be buying another suit at the moment, since I'm packing most of my stuff up right now. But you know, I find it interesting that people think they thought it was me at a Men's Warehouse buying a $5,000 suit, and you know, even if it was me, what's the big deal? I can tell you what, if I was, I wouldn't be using a credit card to do it. But was it me? No. Do I need another suit? No. I'm doing pretty well with my clothing inventory as I'm packing it all up. I think I have enough for the time being. But I wanted to clarify that. I thought that was interesting. But you know, if you were at a Men's Warehouse, you should know better that there are no $5,000 suits there. So I wanted to just end this video on that. Sometimes I like to address people who have no idea what they're talking about, and maybe it was just an innocent mistake. But if you saw somebody buying a suit for $5,000 at Men's Warehouse, you know, they put a couple extra zeros on that guy's bill, because there's no such thing as a $5,000 suit at Men's Warehouse. And if you were there, you should know better. So again, you know, if you're going to make judgments or allegations, at least make sure they're real. I mean, that's all I ask. But I hope everybody's having a great day. Tomorrow will be very interesting. Wednesday will be extremely interesting. Look, if you have the money, you can afford it. Treat yourself to a $5,000 suit. Go right ahead if you can afford it. If you can't, you need to be working hard, paying off the debts, working the side hustles. I think right now, even if you can afford it, maybe take the $5,000 and buy something I think that makes a little bit more sense. Buy some gold. You know, I just made a gold purchase. I just put that on one of my shows a couple videos ago. I bought more gold, more silver. These are the things that I think are much more important than buying suits right now. For me, I have plenty of clothes. I don't need any more. I'm buying more gold, more silver, and I'm building up my capital reserves because I know what's coming. So, you know, if you don't have the money to go out, or you do have the money to go out and buy a $5,000 suit, maybe think about it. And maybe that money would be well spent somewhere else right now? Do you have enough food and water put away? How about training? Are you out at the range? How are your tactics? How's your security? How's your gear? Have you done a gear check? You know, maybe that's a good place to invest a little bit of money right now. You know, people, they just think that, you know, if I have a pew and a box of ammo, I'm good to go. But what about training? You know, have you gone out and done some weekend courses? What kind of gear are you running? You know, gear is important. Do you have the right kind of shoes? There's all kind of things you should have. Do you have the proper light on your weapons? Do you have enough extra parts, optics, things like this? I mean, this is where I would be investing money in right now. Not suits, not toys, not cars, not expensive dinners, not weekend trips. I would be investing in gear right now. How about a plate carrier? You got a plate carrier? You know, these are things everybody should be thinking about right now. You got a trauma kit? Do you have extra tourniquets? That, you know, I mean, that's what people should be thinking about right now. This is the time to be buying real things, things that you may need down the road. But I think training is one of the most important. If you have the tools, but you don't have the training, what's the point? Go take a weekend course. Go get some instruction. That is a great place to invest money, because now you're learning skills. Now you're learning tactics. Those are things you will take with you for the rest of your life, and you may actually have to use at some point. God forbid that things break apart, but you may have to use these type of skill sets. So things to think about. Comment down below about anything you want to comment on. What do you think about the market just exploding today? Dow Jones over 500 points, amazing. Wow, 80% of this country is living paycheck to paycheck, and 20-30% have absolutely no money saved up whatsoever. 60% haven't put any emergency savings away, and half this country doesn't even have $400 saved up. I mean, this is very concerning. And yet the markets are up, and people will go, see, everything's okay, the markets are up. Remember, these markets and this economy are completely detached. There is no way you can see any similarity or any relationship between the markets and the economy at this point. They are completely two different, separate entities right now. And you could say, yeah, the market's up 500 points today, but did your life improve? Did your dollar stretch farther? Did your rent go down? Did gas prices go down? Did food prices go down? Is your standard of living going up? No, it's not. All of this is going down, and your purchasing power is continuing to go down. Your standard of living, your net worth, all going down. But hey, the stock market was up today. It's an absolute joke how manipulated things are, but it's all going to come to an end because they can only manipulate it so much and for so long. These markets are too big to manipulate forever, especially the bond market. They're going to lose control. Many people, many of these high rollers and the top 1% are already out of these markets, or they're getting out. Take a look at Jamie Dimon. What's he going to sell? Like 1 million shares of JP Morgan Chase? Why? Why? And why have so many of these high rollers gotten out of the market? They want the little retailer investors to come in. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, my opinion, when they pull the rug out on this thing, people's heads are literally going to spin off their shoulders. They're going to get wiped out. They're not going to know what to do. And the first thing they'll want to do is, who do I blame? Who cares who you're going to blame? You're wiped out. Be very cautious. Don't be complacent. Be very, very cautious to what is taking place right now. I don't see it getting better anytime soon. The Fed can talk dovish and maybe boost this market up a little bit, but the market is dying, and most people in the market know it, and that's why they're getting out. The market is over, and yet people are going to go buy the dip. Buy the dip. Markets never go down. Careful, ladies and gentlemen. Careful. I wish no ill will on anybody, but you can see this as clear as day what is going on. Have a good day. Be safe. God bless.